The Becoming Flame podcast broadcasts pure, unfiltered power exchange that stokes the flame of your being. Because it's time to remember. It's time to return. It's time to become flame. This episode of Becoming Flame is brought to you by PhenXX. PhenXX is a ritual luxury house devoted to erotic feminine embodiment. We create alchemical intimacy oils and functional fragrances infused with spagyric botanicals designed to soften the nervous system, open the body, and awaken life force vitality. Our formulations are crafted as tools of self-initiation. They are not cosmetic. They are not decorative. They are designed to be felt. They are designed to shift. Each oil facilitates a cellular shift into relaxation and receptivity, activating and opening up an archetypal femininity that your body knows and is yearning to step into. These oils allow the body to open safely into sensual intelligence, magnetism, and creative power. They open the libido and open creative sexual energy. When the body is safe, it softens. When it softens, it receives. When it receives, it creates. And when it creates, the entire world shifts. We believe that women who sit deeply in their bodies, in their erotic intelligence and sovereignty, become powerful creators of their lives and the environments around them. Our products are initiations into that coherence. Luxury in experience, devotional in use, transformational in effect. Get yours now at PhenXX.com. That's PhenXX.com. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Flame. I am so excited about this episode because what I want to share today has changed my life so much. For the better, obviously. If that wasn't implied, for the better. Oh my God, it's changed my life so much for the worse, and I want to share it with you so you can do it too. No, obviously we're not here for that. So today I want to talk to you about what emotional alchemy actually is, how to do it, and actually take you through a process that is really live for me right now. So I'm gonna actually do it. I'm gonna talk you through it, but I'm also going to showcase what that is, because I'm so sick of all of these people online who are saying, you know, I'm going to take you to the quantum field, or I'm going to alchemize, or I'm going to do this or that, and never actually break down their process and make you understand that these words can sometimes be marketing, and that the processes themselves are so accessible and so easy to do yourself once you understand them, once you learn them. So that's what I want to kind of keep doing and keep bringing to this podcast. A 30-second, 1-minute video on Instagram will never get into this. So this is why the podcast format, the long form format is really, really great, because I am so far beyond wanting to work with individuals or groups into this kind of stuff in a paid capacity, because these are fundamental skill sets that every woman needs to elevate her life and upgrade her identity, not just for her as an individual person, but because my vision for this planet is that all 4 billion women on this planet are operating at such a high level of capacity. They have and hold their highest identity for themselves, and that shifts our entire world into operating in a higher resonance with harmonic unity, and actually make this earth a place that we all want to live in, right? I am so done with war. I am so done with conflict and competition and all this other stuff. So let's get into it, because I want you to have these skills, and I want you to realize how freaking simple this stuff is. Okay. So my kind of fun way to think about it is, if you can do Kegels while waiting in line at the shopping center to check out, if you can do Kegels when you're waiting in the shopping line, when you're waiting in line at the shopping center to check out, you can do this at the same time. You can do this. All right. So I want to talk about rage specifically, but this can be applied to any major emotion. All right. So the context of what's happened or what's ever happening isn't ever important. But first, we're going to name what we're raging against. We're going to name the thing that we hold inside of us. And why is that important? Because in the context of all of the spiritual love and light bypassing bullshit that we've been going through, what that has led to is a compounding and a compacting of really raw, valuable emotion that you needed to rise above, overcome. Now, what does that actually mean? Because here's what I think it means. When something really, really, really shitty happens to you, and your spiritual guru, your spiritual doctrine, your teacher, mentor, or even just the books you're reading all say to you, rise above, see the value in that, see the gift in that, see, how it's serving you. What you're also doing at that same time is literally abandoning yourself in that moment of, but in this moment, I feel rage, I feel betrayal, I feel grief, I feel whatever negative. And you know how I feel about that. There are no such things as negative and positive emotions. They're feeling states, they're information, they're data, right? So if something happens that is outside of your control to change, and you are negatively impacted by that, and you are negatively impacted by the injustice and the unchangeability and the uncontrollability and the lack of power or the lack of agency that you have in that situation, and you rage against that, why is the teaching and the overculture for you to get over it, let it go, rise above, become the bigger person? What do you have to do in order to so-called become the bigger person? You have to leave that emotion. You have to abandon that emotion. You have to bypass and you have to disregard that emotion. Instead, what I'm advocating for and what has helped me so much is to turn into it and to look into it and to name that rage. And as you name it, I am raging against X, I am raging against this, I am raging against that, I rage, all of this rage comes up. And guess what? That's where the seat of your power is. Now you have usable energy. It's not locked away in your body. It's usable to you. That rage holds power. It holds kinetic energy. It holds functionality, and it holds an impetus and a catalyst for something else, right? So this guy said this guy's insecurity did this, whatever. It doesn't matter. Some guy with a really bad spray tan decided to fucking annihilate and bomb the shit out of a country that did absolutely nothing to provoke it. I rage, right? Whatever it is, whether it's at the macro geopolitical level or whether it's at the micro personal, I rage against myself because I am not doing the thing that I say that I truly, truly believe in. And I'm raging that I am not somebody who follows through with my value set. Or I'm raging that my partner doesn't see all that I do. I'm raging that my partner leaves his plates in the sink and that I have to do it all the time. I'm raging that my toddler doesn't know how to function as a 21-year-old. None of it has to be logical. None of it has to be right. You just have to name what you feel. You just have to name the rage and the source of it and allow it to come out. And you go on this tirade. So pause this video right now if you want to, and literally just open up the channel for what you are raging. And it doesn't have to be sensical. It doesn't have to be logical. It doesn't have to be rational. It doesn't have to follow a flow. Just, I rage, and go for it and feel it and get into it. And almost like if you want to, there's another way that you could do it, is you literally create an energetic circle of safety to rage. And I've done that before. It's like I draw this circle and into it I step so that I am held safe and secure. I am held in this container. This is my rage circle, and here I rage. Okay, so you step into that circle and you just name it. And if you don't want to say this out loud, you can write it. If you want to just text a friend, so it's it feels like you're validated or you're seen in that, then you can do that too. And as you name everything, as you call it out, you are giving permission to the woman that is full, that is complete, that is entire, to feel what she feels, to be who she is. So you name it and you name it and you allow that naming to come. You summon that rage to make itself known to you, to introduce itself to you, to be the conduit for something more, something bigger. And then you just take a moment and you start to feel, oh, what does that feel like now to name this rage? Have I ever been allowed to feel rage? Not anger, not hate, rage. And distinguish the difference. Start to clock within your body, within your being, within the totality of you. What is the difference between hating something and raging against something? And have I been misnaming things? Have I been angry because I'm in zero contact with my rage? Women have so much to rage about. There's not a whole bunch going on that's, innately women-led in this world. It's starting, it's happening, and that's because of the rage and the impetus and the power that raging feels. But when you are outside of a structure, outside of a system that is literally designed against you, you should have a lot of rage about that. But why don't we? Why are we all just going about our lives? One, because we're so busy. We've been busified. Trademark pending. We've been busified to be too busy to deal with the things that are actually mattering in our lives. We have to take care of the house. We have to go and earn an income. We have to do all of the things that we do every single day. And then the way that we do it and our natural approach to doing that is criticized by a system that's not made for the way that we do things. How is there not rage in that? How is there not rage in that? Tell me. So if you are a woman who is like, I don't have rage, I'm good. Okay, Becky, let's get into that. Why are you good? Why can't you contact your rage? And there's going to be a lot of religious, political, social, cultural, familial conditioning around what does that mean to you? What does that do to your identity if you rage? So if you're not even able to step into that place of I express my rage, then let's even take a step back before we go on to all of the other steps, which is why. Can you access your rage from that point? I am a woman who rages because I can't even rage. I am a woman who is locked out of my body technology, my power to feel, my feminine power to feel, because of the systems that I have grown up in, because of the family I've grown up in, because of the culture, because of the society, because of the religion, because of the whatever, whatever, whatever. If you are a woman who cannot even feel your rage, are you online? Are you actually living in vitality in any way? And does that give you rage? If you cannot orgasm, if you cannot feel pleasure, if you cannot receive help, is it because you cannot feel rage? Like, sit with that. If your rage right now is like mild disagreement or, grumblings of somebody cut me off in traffic, the invitation here is to feel what is completely forbidden for you to feel. Because as you start to give yourself permission to feel that which is forbidden, what else is possible? What else can you actually start to feel that you've not allowed yourself, that you've never been given permission to feel, that either you or somebody else is blocking you from experiencing and being with? Which other parts of you are not accessible, are not online, are not even known to you? And so don't take this exercise as something that doesn't do life-changing work just because it's simple. We need to get out of the idea that changing your life is difficult, that changing your life requires a guru, that requires someone 10 years ahead of you in the pathway, that requires a cave and a mountaintop and solitude and silence. Like, you are not in solitude and silence. You are not a monk. You are not a shaman, because the women who are changing this world are leading everyday normal lives in normal existence, raising children, keeping jobs, keeping a household, keeping all of these other things alive and functioning. That means you have the skill sets to keep yourself alive and functioning. And it's not in the absence of the other things that this happens. It's in that chaos. It's in that. That's the assignment. That's our collective assignment, that we will keep the world running and do the work that we are here to do at a galactic or earth level or collective level or lineage level or personal level, or all of that at once. You are made to multitask more than you even understand. And your body technology can do so much of this in the background while you keep your job. And the way that I always come back to understanding that is, I could go to work and make a baby. So you can change, you can alchemize your rage, your forbidden centers, and put food on the table and clean the house and do a load of laundry. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerfully we are designed to be. So let's start tapping into the functionality of the female body to express the complexity of who we be and the totality of who we be. Okay? Okay. So let's just assume, for the purposes of this podcast and moving it forward, that you can either access rage, or now that you understand why you can't access rage, that you're willing to and you're going to try. And even if it's you starting to name things that you're angry about, even if it's starting to name things that you hate, okay, fine, let's start there. And we'll build up to holding the capacity in our bodies for rage. Because sometimes going straight into rage, it's too scary for the body. It's too much for the body. So start where you're at. Give yourself that permission, give yourself that grace to be like, today, all I can do is name my anger. Today, all I can do is name my grievances. And as I begin to talk on that, as I begin to give air to that, space to that, I invite and I evoke and I invoke Madam Rage, she who is raging in me, to present herself to me, to come to me. I invite this conversation. I invite this part of me. I now accept safety to feel the rage that I feel, and I invite all the help that I need for that to appear and to bring that container for me. And don't believe for a second that your willingness and your invocations are not the spells and not the mastery that you just need in order to bring this change about. Okay, so we feel rage. We tap into rage. We know what it is. Now we name it. We get it out. And it's standing in front of us. Oh, you can start to have a dialogue if you feel that that's required, or you can just name it. And now is the part. That's not enough for emotional alchemy. That's just, if it stays there, that's just complaining, right? That's just you naming shitty things in your life. And that's you making psychological and subliminal categorization within your body system that you are not powerful enough to make that change. You are not the alchemizer, and you just stay at the complaint. But we are alchemizers, so where do we go now? So you have this rage in front of you. You have this power, and it will be pulsing. It will be vibrating. It will be alive. And now you command that energy into what you want. So you start naming it. I want X. I need Y. I need this. You, rage, need to be something else. Okay? I command it. I summon it. Okay? So you're going to go through a list of I want, I need, I command, I summon. And that will start to really shift. Ooh, I'm raging because my expectation for life and for myself and for what I know to be true, like the truth within me is here. But I'm operating down here. And that chasm between what I want, what I command, what I summon, what I deserve, what I expect, and what I now hold to be true for me, and what is where it is, that difference, do you know what that difference is? Rage. That's the equalizer. So you use the rage to get to where you want to go. So now you know what you want. Now you know what you need. Now you know what you're commanding. Now you know what you're summoning. You've named it. You've made a process to step you out of. So when we're here before, it is all about accepting what is, rising above. So you are the one that needs to change. The situation, the structures, the systems, the world outside of you doesn't need to change. It's you that needs to adapt yourself to that injustice, to that misogyny, to that smallness. What? How do we buy into that for so many decades? No, my friends, it is not you who needs to change. Your truth is pure. It is the world and the circumstances around you that are not meeting you at the truth of who you be and the truth that you know you are here to hold and the note that you are here to sing, right? You are the thread in the tapestry of a world that you are trying to create, right? So what are all the other threads around you required to build that picture? And your rage holds the answers to that. But if you have been trained to just rise above, love and light, let it be, I accept what is, passive flow, come what may, oh, it's all in divine timing. Have you heard any of this before? Is that starting to make sense? That the system of control the system of slavery that we live in requires and depends on strong, truthful, authentic women living outside of their truth and putting their energy into accepting what is. Let that land. Let that land. If you are a person who has put all your time and energy into accepting what is, and you don't understand what self-betrayal or self-abandonment is, connect those dots. Connect those dots in those moments. Because when something incites rage in a woman, and instead of her activating that rage and emotionally alchemizing it into a sustainable change in herself that then promotes an exterior change as a result, and instead puts her energy into shifting that emotion or suppressing that emotion. So either she's coming out of the body so the emotion cannot be felt, or she's shifting the emotion so far down into her body so she cannot be feeling it. And the power of that rage is now just captured in the fossilization of all other emotions that have gone to be buried. She puts her energy into making herself distorted, smaller, pleasant. And that is, in a nutshell, how we get good girls who do nothing for this world. Clear, right? Really super clear. And then you've got bros that are now all on the Epstein list who have been teaching women what soft femininity, what compliant femininity, what good girl behavior is for decades. And we all bought the books and we all drank the Kool-Aid to such an extent that we have facilitated the patriarchal suppression of women's power by being pleasant, by being compliant, by being understanding, by being love and light. So now we know our rage. We know that we've even been forbidden from feeling our rage. We're in it. We see the power. We've commanded. We've summoned. We've stated what we want, what we need, what we desire, what we command and what we summon here to us now. And the gap between what is and what that is that we're calling in is the rage. And so now the next step is to say, if I were the villain, if I were the bad girl, if I were the terrible, awful, labels, whatever label you were given as a child about if you were naughty, if you were ever doing anything where you got what you wanted at the end, whatever that label is for you, claim it. Claim it in this moment. If I were a villain, I would. Now, I can give an example to this. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to dilute the power of this episode. But I asked somebody if they would like some feedback on something that I know a lot about, that I have a lot of experience in. They said yes. Now, I was not affiliated with this, but I was not employed by this company, but I was affiliated with them through a program that I was participating in. I asked him if he would like any feedback. He said yes. I gave the feedback. I also gave the feedback to multiple other people who were not necessarily employed in that company, but were participants in the same program. And they all agreed and said we would benefit from this feedback and this shift and this idea that would actually be amazing. The individual whom had some power to make a change was deeply triggered due to his insecurity and lack of experience that matched mine. And instead of taking these ideas on board, you know what happened? He got triggered, he got defensive, he got super anxious, he started to fear for his job, even though I did not want his job. And instead of having an open conversation about how such an idea may be implemented and seeing the greater vision that I was proposing, I got expelled from the program. Oh, sorry, I asked you if you wanted feedback or any ideas. You said yes, you invited them. I gave such an idea. And instead of that being like, sorry, we're not going to be able to do that. Great idea, but it's not for this time. Somebody got into a complete fizzle, super triggered and insecure. And instead of seeing the opportunity to elevate, came off and expelled me. And I felt rage, not anger. I felt a lot of confusion as well, but I felt rage. And that's the difference between rage and anger and hate. I didn't hate him. In fact, I understood him deeply. I saw exactly what was happening. I saw him. I had compassion for him. He suffers from severe anxiety. I had compassion for that. I had empathy for that. But that didn't dismiss that I had rage at the injustice of what was committed against me. And so in this process, I broke down, why am I raging? Well, it's because I wanted the help, the support, the container, the opportunity that this program could have been if it were better and if my ideas were elevated and if the program was performing at the level and the capacity of what it could be. And I was rageful that it wasn't, right? So now we remove ourselves from this individual and the program, and we come into, what is my rage? What is my primordial rage? I am raging that I am doing this alone. I am raging at the individualistic society that we live in. I am raging that we do not live in a coherent, cohesive society where everyone comes together for the collective benefit of each individual and the group to make a bigger world, to make a better vision, to live in a world where community and village and togetherness and unity and help and support are values of our society. I rage that individualistic society that separates us and that distorts us from our own truth is the predominant culture that we live in. I rage that. I rage that for you and for me and for all of us. I rage it. And I rage that I'm not doing more. I'm raged that I'm at stretched capacity. I rage that I'm at stretched capacity because the supports and the infrastructure that I need isn't in existence. I rage that I haven't set it up, or I rage that it takes me to set it up. I rage that I have to put time, energy, resource, and creative power into a structural setup that isn't innate to our society. I rage that it has to take time to move our ideas into the 3D. I rage and I rage and I rage. And as I continue, I named all my rages. And it was like, my rage is not about this bro. The only one that was I rage at the injustice that well-meaning, good intentioned ideas being proposed to elevate the group can sometimes be turned around and you can become the villain. And so then the next step was, so what if I became the villain? If I'm going to become the villain by being the good girl and by being in the best intentioned sharing of ideas, what if I just fucking became the villain? What would that do then? If I were the villain, I would raise my company status to 8-figure business per year, 9-figure business per year. I would become the biggest podcast on the planet for women who are claiming deeply to change their lives. I would stand on stages all around the world and activate women into their highest possible outcome for life. If I were the villain, I would declare freedom and sovereignty and absolute capacity to live the life that your truth is asking you to live. And I would be the villain who would activate that in every single woman on this planet. I would be the most villainous, dangerous woman, because I would activate all the other dangerous, villainous women on this planet to live a powerful, purpose-led, fulfilling life in sovereignty, in freedom, and in truth. And if I were the villain, we wouldn't have men who sit pressing red buttons all across the world, decimating women and children, decimating innocent families because of their fucking egos. And if I were the villain, if I were the most dangerous woman on this planet, I would free all the children from the constraints of childhood schooling, and I would let them play and let them be little geniuses all across the planet so that they could grow up connected to their mothers, connected to their spirit, connected to their truth, connected to nature and to the biotechnology that is within them to change this planet into one of love, unity, harmony, and togetherness. And I would do that in cohorts with other dangerous women and other dangerous people all around the world. Okay, what I've done there is really, really important, and I'm going to break it down. Some bro kicked me out of something that I kind of wanted to be in. It wasn't the right thing for me. The injustice was really bugging me, and it was churning inside of me, and I was looping in it. It was like, what the fuck? How does that guy think that he has just because you've got small amount of power and you want to use it over someone else to make your life more palatable? But your life is not more palatable. You still suffer from extreme anxiety. You still suffer from an inability to take on other ideas, blah, 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 blah. See that energy? Like loopy, like drive you fucking bonkers bananas, right? You claim what you actually want. You use the rage to bring you to that place. And then you decide who would be the most dangerous, villainous, bad girl that would get me there, because the good girl got me into that. And now here's what the bad girl would do. Instead of using my ideas and my creativity and my mental, genius to help other people who don't want my help, how about I use all of my creative genius to help me, therefore help other women, help other people, and help the people who want my help, who recognize who seek me out and who say, the help that you would give and to activate my spirit, my business, my life into this extraordinary existence on this planet at this time is so valuable and so freaking incredible. Please, 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 would you help me? Now we've activated what is bad girl. You start to understand. Remember when you watch Wicked and you realize the wicked witch is not the wicked one at all? But the wicked ones are all the ones who believe in the bullshit and the lies and the propaganda and the marketing. And then you start to understand marketing is one of the most spell casting things in the world, because if you just say something in the most provocative way, in the most intriguing way, and usually in a way that nobody understands what you're talking about because it's not clear, it's not truth, and it's not straightforward. So you craft a story, you tell a story, you tell a spell, and you cast that over the people, and then they fall for it, and then they believe you because you told them over and over and over again, and you've got more money to tell that message, or you've got more resources to tell that message. Meanwhile, the person who believes in truth and just believes in authentic good goes against the grain, goes against what is expected of the group, and in deviation is cast as wicked. And what does she do right at the end of that story? She goes, I cannot win this fight. So now I'm going to be the most wicked witch of all. And I am going to live the truth of what they call wicked and I call authenticity. So in claiming your wicked witch, in claiming your bad girl, in claiming your villain, in claiming your dangerous woman, what you are doing is claiming that the truth of you deviates from the overculture of control and of sheep-like following, where you don't question, where you don't deviate, where you don't ruffle any feathers. And you have to claim through the rage mechanism and the portal and alchemical catalyzation process of claiming your wickedness, claiming your dangerousness, claiming your villainous, bad girl, and transforming that into the most powerful and activated self, you start to realize your bad girl isn't bad at all. Your wicked girl isn't wicked at all. It's wicked in comparison to what the culture is asking you to be. And so rage alchemy here is using rage as a mechanism, as a tool, as a catalyst for identification at the deepest truth of you of what it is that you are truly, truly here for. And in identifying that and in claiming that and in being that and assuming that and now not only powering that up, but energizing that and putting all that rage that you had into the wicked witch, and you go for it and you step into her and you, oh yes, she is who I have been running from. She is who is holding my power. And without her integrated within me, I had no power. I had no opportunity to step into the frequency of truth that I now can be, because I've alchemized my rage into the power that I am. And the rage from before was simply the signal of how far out of alignment I was. So if you're a woman with a lot of rage, that's just two things. First of all, collapse all of that rage and bring it into you, and all of a sudden you've got all of this. You want to know how people talk about quantum leaping into this higher identity? They alchemize that which they haven't been feeling, haven't been acting on, haven't been utilizing. They collapse it all into one power center, assume it, and then step up. That's what looks like years of nothing happening into overnight success. It's because you have this enormous amount of power that you can push into your body and elevate your entire status through the most simple of simple processes. Did I need any machinery or equipment? No. Did I need another person? No. Did I need hours and days of my life? No. Could this whole process take 5, 10, 15 minutes maximum? Yes. Could this happen while I'm waiting in traffic? Yes. Could this happen every night that I take a shower? Yes. And that's what we need to start to get into, is how do we operate spiritual hygiene, emotional alchemy in a routine day-to-day way, so that we are not waiting 10 years to access our power. Just because one event happened, it doesn't mean that it's a small amount of rage. It can be enormous. And it can be the kind of rage that takes you from, I don't want to launch my business, I don't want to start my book, I don't know how to find a new job, I don't know where to live. Any of these things that are showing up in your external, where you are avoiding taking action, where you are avoiding feeling disappointment, where you are avoiding feeling rage or grief or whatever it may be. Make sure that you tap into the rage that you are feeling underneath that, and then catalyze yourself into, for example, you've been trying to write a book for 10 years. I rage that I have not sat down. I have not made myself the priority to sit down and write words on a page. I rage that I believe that it's hard. I rage that I believe that it's going to be difficult, that it's going to be something I have to process through. I rage that my belief system is keeping me from being the published author that I see myself as. I rage that I'm not prioritizing myself. I rage that I'm not making the time. I rage that I don't believe in myself enough. I rage for all the women who yearn to read my book and learn from me are being denied my presence on the planet because I'm not doing the thing that I deeply want to do. And you go on and you go on and you go on. And I command that I write this book. I command that my publisher finds me, begs me to publish with them. I summon my publisher. I summon my writing partner. I summon my editor, whatever it may be that is your case. If I were the villain, I would selfishly and indulgently take a writing retreat for 1 month in the rainforest in Costa Rica, and I would write my book and it would pour out of me. And as I wrote each word would heal and soothe and balm me into this expanded writer, into this creative that spills spills out words I would articulate with finesse and elegance and glamour, and my words would resonate with the readers who need to read it. And I would start speaking as if I were a published author. I would start dressing like a published author. I would conduct my entire life as if I were already a published author with something important to say. And I would carve out the time to say it. I would carve out my life so that my desires are honored and privileged aspects of my life that I am in service of. If I were the villainous woman, I would serve my desire and my desire would serve me and I would love it. How different is that to I just need to find a time to write a book? No. You are the wicked, villainous woman who writes best-selling books and changes other people's lives. And the villain who does that serves this world. And you should feel rage that you are not being her because she is amazing. And you are in disservice of yourself and your higher purpose every excuse and every day you don't do it. See how the energy shifts there? Now I want to go to Costa Rica and write a book, and I didn't even want to do that before And so the whole idea here is rage is information. Rage is data. What is it telling you? And the more you avoid it and the more you sit outside of your body, the more you can't access that. And the other thing that's very important as we alchemize this, do you see how in the beginning, I'm not writing a book, but I really want to? That's about I and self. And most importantly, it's about what I and self are not doing. It's about the defeatist aspect of the non-action and the obligation and the to-do list and the task and the drudgery, right? So it's an energy of drudgery. I'm not writing a book and I kind of want to. Wow, where can I read it? Whereas when we summon the villain, the wicked witch, the bad girl, the extreme terrible things that we could do on this planet that deviate us so far away from our good girl identity that was our survival in whatever world and childhood and previous existence and identity that we came from. And the identification with that good girl is the so-called keeping us safe mechanism. So let's not rock the boat. Let's not ruffle feathers. Let's just keep everyone happy here. even if I am miserable and even if I am underutilizing myself and my gifts and my talents and my truth, the deviation to villainousness, to wickedness, is the claiming of truth and power and authenticity and authentic acceptance of your purpose on this planet. If that is the most villainous and wicked thing that you can do, there's your invitation. And do you know what else came across in when I was talking about that? Was how elevated the vision became. Now I'm writing books to serve a population of readers who need what I have to say. So we went from, I am not writing the book, to I am here to serve, and so I shall. That is such a different frequency. And what's the bridge? What's the mechanism? What's the alchemical point there? Rage. And owning that rage and seeing the information that it has. So what happened for me after I did this process? Bro doesn't take on my ideas. All good, don't care, moving on. I ring the economic development department. I tell them my vision. I sell it to them. I tell them my vision in a way that asks them, that summons them, that seduces them. I summon you to see my vision. I summon you to come into me. I've already done that work, right? So I've already put it out there. I am the villainous, wicked woman who is summoning these people into my vision to seduce them into a higher mechanism of operation on this planet for this particular niche that I am now looking into. And I summon all of the collective energy, the universal energy, all of the people that would benefit from this. I summon them all around me. I summon their energy. I summon their power. I summon their rage into alchemy as well. I love that. I just burped. I'm not even going to edit that out because you need to know that. Because when you are doing this elevation work, whatever's in the body that's keeping that out, get it out. Yuck. You summon that. You summon that vision. I summon you to see this. I summon you into this. I command that you see a higher way of operating here than was possible. Not fucking love and light, I'll make myself smaller and I'll work it out over here. Because I already said, I want support and structures and all of this opportunity to rise me up so that I can in turn rise women alongside me. I want to pull them up or invite them up. So I want someone else to do the same. I command that someone else does the same. And I summon those people to me here and now. And I accept and I summon the synchronicities and spontaneous creation of that vision. So I call them. And I invite them into this vision. They're flawed. They're like, how did we never think of this again? Let's make some calls. Let's make all of this happen. So bro doesn't like my idea, expels me from the program. I go and fucking create my own. That's rage. That's not hate. That's not anger. I'm not sitting here with you complaining about some insecure bullshit that happened because of some guy's anxiety. Yeah? He's gone. He's a fleck of dust in my life. He's the catalyst. He's the entry point into the rage that needed to be alchemized to bring this greater vision to earth. I had the idea. I said, why don't you facilitate it? He couldn't see it. I said, I can. Let me shift the entire universe around me so that I can make this idea happen. And because of the summoning, the commanding, the wanting, the access point into what could be, and the rage that powered that to happen, it did. This is why we need to stop complaining and venting to girlfriends about shit that's happening in a loop. You're staying in the same frequency of, oh, and he said this, and then he said this, and then like, can you believe it? I'm so confused. Like, why would he do that? Doesn't he know that I'm great? No, Brenda, he doesn't know you're great until you do. He won't know shit about you until you do. And that is how the world shifts out of love and light and rise above into, I'm going to rise so high, I will build worlds and frequencies you cannot access. And I will do it in my sleep in 5 minutes because I have the entire universe working and organizing and orchestrating that which I am holding from divine love, not love and light, actual fabric of the universe. And I am a conduit for that. I am a woman. I am a creator. I bring worlds through me. I bring frequencies through me. I am the conduit between what could be and what now is. But the difference between what now is and what could be is my capacity to move higher and higher and hold a vision of what could be in the highest point of connection that I can be. And as I elevate myself into the villain that I am and deviate from the good girl that everyone wants me to be, that conduit and that channel and that pipeline becomes more stable, becomes more secure, becomes more functional. And tying this back into nervous system capacity, good girl frequency, good girl conditioning wants you to freeze, wants you to stay frozen, to stay stuck, to stay pleasant and smiling and, yes, sir, how high, sir, with pleasure, sir, of course, sir. I would never think for myself, sir. Wicked, villainous, dream creating, world creating, woman in power, creatrix power, highest self, whatever you want to call her. She has a nervous system that can activate fight. And female fight response is, I'm going to birth it. I'm going to create it. Where's the action? Where's the stimulation? Where's the listening? Where's the acting upon that? Where's the spark within me that I act upon to catalyze the infinity through me? And if your nervous system response to conflict is freeze, you will be stuck in your good girl. If you can build enough resilience and enough capacity in your emotional alchemy, that will translate into a nervous system that can activate a trigger point of fight, where the rage and the fight are coming into action made. That doesn't mean you throw a punch. It doesn't mean you spit fire from your mouth. It doesn't mean you engage in a fight, in a conflict with that situation down here. It means, thank you for this. Let me alchemize the rage. From there, my nervous system activates into fight. I do the thing. I create the thing. I transform myself into the woman I need to be in order to fulfill that vision, birth that vision, create that vision, and hold it. And hold it. Because that's the requirement, right? It's not just to birth and then have it disappear. We birth babies and then we raise them. We birth ideas and then we grow them. We birth companies and then we launch them and grow them and scale them. Yeah? I hope that this has been valuable. For me, this has been life-changing. This has been one of the most fundamentally simple activities for building capacity and building resilience in my not only my body, my nervous system, but my vision center, my frequency, and my capacity to hold frequency. And most importantly, as somebody who, I didn't know that I was somebody who could overthink stuff until I started like learning what the body technology and what the body intelligence can do, and be like, oh, I could have thought about that situation for weeks, ruminated or looped in that, or seen that guy as someone who did something to me. And now I'm like, yo, bro, thank you so much. You activated a rage within me that is going to create a beautiful world. And I am so excited about what's happening. And by the next day, I don't even remember him, because I'm already living in a new world and a new reality that my rage helped energize into existence. And that is the most empowering thing for women at this time. It's like, even if the guy cutting you off in traffic or the woman at the cash register being rude to you is activating this rage response, be like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom and change my life. Oh my God, I can't stop smiling about that, this access point. And you will start to look for these access points. Your scanning and all the hypervigilance scanning and what do you call it? Intuition, outer vision, outtuition, all the scanning and the outtuition that you used to think was you being empathic, that will now be transformed into an agent to scan for opportunities to make access points into rage alchemy or emotional alchemy. And every time something triggers you, now you're like, oh, there's a portal point, there's an access point, let me see what I can do. What is it deeper than this? What is it higher than this? How do I transform this shitty little annoying thing that happened to me into what I ultimately want on this planet, on this world? And then you can start to go through every single aspect of your life. Oh, that annoys me, or she annoys me, or this isn't ideal. What is it that I truly, truly, truly want? How do I choose? How do I follow? And those synchronicities and then spontaneous creation starts to unfold in front of you. And then within a couple of weeks, a couple of months, definitely within a year, your life will look completely different. And it is all because you chose to turn around, face the emotion, and say, there's more here than meets the eye. These are the skills of the women who are changing the world. This is the simple way to do it. It's not hard. It doesn't require any more training than what I've taken you through today. Listen to this episode as much as you want. Feel the difference. Feel the energy shift. And that will help activate in your body. Can I get that state change? Can I move from this into, oh yeah, I'm now the woman that commands this room, this world, this earth? And who's coming with me? So much love to you. And I'm, if you want to do love and light, you be free to do that. But if you want to create worlds, if you want to create an earth that shifts and that moves in a different way, that is inclusive to all people and that is harmonious and beautiful and is part of your higher truth and your higher mission, what do you have to lose except try this? So much love, and I'll speak to you soon.